Hi, I'm Chris. After suffering from CFS for 6 years, I fully recovered. I created this healing program to guide and support you on your healing journey from CFS, fibromyalgia, long COVID, and related syndromes. If you haven't watched the previous videos in this series, I recommend starting from the beginning, as each video builds on top of the last. You can find them for free on my website at healing-space.online. In the previous video, we discussed the frustrating search for answers and relief when dealing with CFS, fibromyalgia, and long COVID. We also highlighted the encouraging fact that recovery is possible. In this lesson, we'll explore what CFS, fibromyalgia, and long COVID are, what they have in common, and how they differ from each other. While there are differences between these conditions, they share many similarities. They are chronic, have overlapping symptoms, are challenging to diagnose, and can be difficult to distinguish from one another. All three are considered multi-system illnesses, meaning they affect multiple systems in the body rather than just one specific area. Although these are complex conditions, understanding their shared features allows us to approach them in a more unified and effective way. Although only CFS is officially classified as a neurological illness, all three conditions involve dysregulation of the autonomic nervous system, ANS, which plays a central role. In my view, the root cause of all three conditions and related syndromes is in an overload of stress that eventually overwhelms the ANS, pushing it into dysregulation. The ANS is deeply interconnected with virtually all bodily systems, managing critical functions like immune response, digestion, energy production, and hormonal balance. When the ANS becomes dysregulated, these systems are disrupted, leading to the wide range of physical and cognitive symptoms we experience with these conditions. Given that a dysregulated autonomic nervous system is a common factor, it's not surprising that these conditions share many overlapping symptoms and are sometimes difficult to distinguish from one another. All three illnesses typically include symptoms such as fatigue, which is often profound, severe, and persistent, cognitive issues such as brain fog, difficulty concentrating, and memory problems, sleep disturbances, so including things like difficulty falling asleep, staying asleep, and unrefreshing sleep, muscle and joint pain, post-exertional malaise, PEM. This is a worsening of symptoms after physical or mental exertion, and neurological symptoms such as headaches and dizziness. While there are similarities between these conditions, there are, of course, differences as well. That's why it's important to go deeper into each, exploring their definitions and symptoms. We'll start by looking at CFS, then move on to fibromyalgia, and finally, long COVID. What is CFS? The term ME and CFS are often used interchangeably. ME stands for myalgic encephalomyelitis, with myalgic referring to muscle pain or tenderness, and encephalomyelitis meaning inflammation of the brain and spinal cord. CFS stands for chronic fatigue syndrome, emphasizing persistent and overwhelming fatigue. ME/CFS is sometimes also referred to or closely associated with conditions like fibromyalgia, post-viral fatigue syndrome, PVFS, chronic fatigue immune dysfunction syndrome, CFIDS, and systemic exertion intolerance disease, SAID. Because ME/CFS is a very complex and not well understood illness, there are many different and sometimes contradicting definitions. In my opinion, the US Center for Disease Control and Prevention provides a suitable definition. It defines ME/CFS as a serious, long-term illness that affects many body systems. The World Health Organization classifies ME/CFS as a neurological illness, categorizing it as a disorder of the nervous system. Since ME/CFS is a disorder of the nervous system, it's important to understand what the nervous system is. The nervous system consists of the brain, spinal cord, and the network of nerves that extends throughout the body. It controls and coordinates virtually all the body's functions. More specifically, the nervous system regulates the immune system, the hormonal system, the musculoskeletal system, the digestive system, and the cardiovascular system. Given that there is a disorder in our nervous system, which controls so many essential bodily functions, it makes sense that when the nervous system isn't working properly, we experience a wide range of symptoms from different parts of the body. This is why ME/CFS can affect so many body systems and cause such varied symptoms. The most common symptoms include severe fatigue, which is persistent, overwhelming. It's not relieved by rest, and it's not the result of excessive exertion. Post-Exertional malaise, PEM. This is a significant worsening of symptoms following physical or mental exertion that can last for more than 24 hours. Sleep disturbances. These are things like problems falling asleep and staying asleep, and experiencing unrefreshing sleep. So despite sleeping for long periods, we wake up feeling tired and unrested. Cognitive difficulties, problems with memory, concentration, and information processing, often referred to as brain fog. Then muscle and joint pain, sore throat, and tender lymph nodes, mostly in the neck or the armpits. Headaches, this might be new headaches or changes in the pattern of severity of existing headaches. Flu-like symptoms, dizziness and lightheadedness, especially when moving from lying down or sitting to standing. This is also known as orthostatic intolerance. Then problems with balance and coordination, and sensitivity to light, sound, or temperature. So this could be bright lights, loud noises, or temperature extremes. Also allergies or sensitivities to foods, chemicals, or medications. Digestive issues such as abdominal pain, bloating, irritable bowel syndrome, and other gastrointestinal problems. Heart palpitations, so irregular heartbeats or a feeling of the heart racing. Shortness of breath or having difficulty breathing. Chills and night sweats. Chest pain. Mood disorders such as anxiety, depression, or irritability, often as a result of the chronic nature of the illness and its impact on daily life. Also, visual disturbances. So this is a blurred vision or sensitivity to light or eye pain. Weight changes, so unexplainable weight gain or weight loss. Skin rashes. This list could go on and on. The symptoms can vary in severity, may fluctuate, and often improve or relapse over time. Symptoms are different for each person, and new ones may appear while others fade away. The overwhelming number of symptoms is typical for people with ME/CFS, which is why the term syndrome is used in the name. A syndrome refers to a collection of symptoms that occur together. Even if you don't suffer from ME/CFS, but instead from fibromyalgia, long COVID, or a related syndrome, you might still identify with many of the symptoms listed. This is because all these conditions share a common root cause: too much stress and a dysregulated autonomic nervous system. As we will later see, this dysregulation leads to issues in various body systems, including the immune system, hormonal balance, energy production, and brain function. Since the symptoms of fibromyalgia and long COVID overlap significantly with the symptoms of ME/CFS, I won't list them all. Instead, we'll focus on the most typical ones. Now, let's take a closer look at fibromyalgia. Fibromyalgia is defined as a chronic condition characterized by widespread musculoskeletal pain, fatigue, and tenderness in localized areas. It affects the way the brain processes pain signals, amplifying painful sensations. Fibromyalgia is classified as both a rheumatic disease and a pain disorder due to its involvement with central pain processing mechanisms. The exact cause of fibromyalgia is not fully understood, but it is believed to involve a combination of genetic, environmental, and psychological factors. Common symptoms of fibromyalgia include widespread pain, so a constant dull ache that lasts for at least 3 months, typically described as being all over the body. Fatigue, persistent tiredness and feeling of exhaustion even after sleeping or resting. Cognitive difficulties, often referred to as fibro-fog. This includes problem with concentration, memory, and focus, sleep disturbances, difficulty falling or staying asleep, restless leg syndrome, and sleep apnea. Other symptoms. This may include headaches, irritable bowel syndrome, IBS, anxiety, and depression. And finally, let's take a quick look at long COVID. Long COVID is defined as a condition in which symptoms persist for weeks or months after the acute phase of a COVID-19 infection has resolved. These symptoms can affect multiple organ systems and significantly impact a person's quality of life. Long COVID is a multi-system condition because it affects multiple organ systems, including respiratory, cardiovascular, neurological, and gastrointestinal systems. Long COVID is also referred to as post-COVID-19 or post-COVID syndrome. Long COVID symptoms can vary widely and may include fatigue, so extreme tiredness that doesn't improve with rest, shortness of breath, difficulty breathing, or a feeling of breathlessness, cognitive difficulties, often referred to as brain fog, including trouble with memory, concentration, and thinking clearly, chest pain, joint and muscle pain, sleep disturbances, difficulty falling or staying asleep, headaches, heart palpitations, so irregular or fast heartbeats, loss of taste or smell, depression and anxiety, so mental health issues arising from prolonged illness and its impact on daily life. And then there are other symptoms. This may include sore throat, fever, dizziness, rashes, or gastrointestinal issues, like diarrhea. Now that we've covered the definitions and symptoms commonly associated with ME/CFS, fibromyalgia, and long COVID, the goal isn't to remember every detail, but to recognize the striking similarities between these conditions. While there are distinct differences, the most important point to understand is that they all involve a dysregulated autonomic nervous system. An ongoing stress overload ultimately pushes our autonomic nervous system over the edge into dysregulation. This then results in the many symptoms we experience. Therefore, in my view, reducing stress and restoring balance to the autonomic nervous system is the most effective way to move towards healing. It's important to emphasize that, in the end, the specific diagnosis, whether ME/CFS, fibromyalgia, long COVID, or another related condition, might not matter as much as understanding the underlying issue. Our system is out of balance. This imbalance is what causes the wide range of symptoms we experience. The key to healing lies in calming our nervous system and restoring that balance. When we do, symptoms can gradually improve and energy can return. I strongly believe that these three illnesses develop and persist in similar ways. The mechanism that causes these conditions and keeps us stuck in them is the same. That's why I believe the path to healing is also the same, whether you have ME/CFS, fibromyalgia, long COVID, or a related syndrome. To heal, we need to guide our system into a healing state by calming both the mind and the body. This journey requires time, patience, and consistent practice, but is absolutely possible and worthwhile. It is also the foundation of this healing program. In the next video, we'll discuss how ME/CFS, fibromyalgia, and long COVID are diagnosed. It often takes several doctor visits to receive a diagnosis, as there is no specific test for these conditions. Another similarity these three conditions share. If you'd like to continue, you can watch the complete introductory video series for free on my website at healing-space.online. This video series is designed to support you in healing from ME/CFS, fibromyalgia, long COVID, and related syndromes. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and follow. Thank you, and see you in the next video.